that or like $6.25 million a year, and then you're not really adding that much more to the cap since his current cap space or cap hit is $4.75 million. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough spot with Palmieri. I feel like if they were going to trade him, that they would have maybe traded him at the last deadline. And the way Fitzgerald described it is, someone asked him, I forget who, was like, why didn't you trade Palmieri? And he's like, well, he's a 30-goal scorer. You know, we need players.
I think that was on a Hockey Central.
That was
I don't remember who it was.
That was actually Abby Mastracco. She asked him at before the game, after the deadline. She specifically asked him, why did you not trade Kyle Palmieri? Like, what was the reasoning? And he just flat out said, why would I want to trade a 30-goal scorer?
Yeah, so that
makes most sense.
Gives me a bit of a sense that maybe they kind of want to re-sign him, and he's being a Jersey boy too. I mean, I think with the Devils cap situation over the next few years, you got a lot of money coming off the books and Schneider, Subban, and Zajac. So there's probably more than enough room where you could re-sign both Gusev and Palmieri to extensions. And I don't really think Gusev's extension is going to be all that expensive. It'd probably be less than Palmieri's. So
that's fair.
I think there's space to make both of them work. And even if you do keep both of them, just go get Nikola Ehlers anyways, because Ehlers is like, I can't really think of a better fit than a player for the Devils than Ehlers. If they're trying to get a forward through the trade market, he's, his goals above replacement over the last 3 seasons is 30.5, which is just about the same as Kyle Palmieri's. And Ehlers is a much better defensive player than Laine. It's not even a question. So, I mean, I think if you're going to choose between the two guys, I would go for Ehlers over Laine. I personally, I'm not even trading for Laine. I think there are better ways to use those assets than acquiring someone who's, I don't know, it'd be tough putting him on the top line, really, because just defensively, it's not really there with him. So, Ehlers is definitely the better fit for the Devils, and if that's the guy that Winnipeg ends up getting rid of, because I don't think they can get rid of both, then he should be the guy the Devils go after.
Yeah.
So if you acquire Ehlers, then you
also get
you have your left wing to play with Hischier or Hughes moving forward, depending on how they go about that. I've always, Nico's a fan favorite, obviously. So is Jack Hughes. I think Nico's going to evolve his game into be a more, I'm not saying like an Austin Matthews or type player.
More dynamic.
Nico's not going to hit, like, let's be honest, Nico is not going to hit 100 points or 90 points.
No, he's probably like
65, 75.
It's like a 60.
Yes, exactly.
It's like between a 55 to like a 70 point range. That's kind of where I put him at. But it's all going to depend what they do. Like, they have to get skill around these two guys, or it's not going to work. Like, I don't think you can sit here and blame. Yes, Jack Hughes needs to put muscle on it.
He's actually adding muscle on, 3 pounds worth.
He's adding muscle on,
yeah.
So I
take a look at the photos, people.
Yeah, but you have to put skilled players around skilled players to make them have success. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it goes back to the question you asked before. It was something along the lines of like, was it a mistake that Shero didn't do anything that summer when they just signed Eric Greiba?
Yes.
And
yes.
No, in hindsight, for sure, it's easy to say that. But like, if you look at that team overachieved that season by making the playoffs, and their farm system really wasn't that great yet. They had improved it a little bit with the 2017 draft by adding Nico, obviously, and Jesper Boquist. But this time it's a little bit different. They have Nico now, they have Jack, they have Ty Smith, they have Jesper Boquist. Kevin Ball, Riley Walsh. They have a better
Nolan Foote.
Nolan Foote.
They have a lot of talent coming through over the next year and change.
So their farm system is a little better now, and but at the same time, a lot of these guys they're not ready yet. And if you make the mistake of not going to get NHL talent to put it,
to bridge the gap.
Yeah, not even to bridge the gap. Like if you get someone like Palat or Killorn, then yeah, that's like bridging the gap because they only got like a couple years left on their deal and they're 29, 30 years old. But like if you get Nikola Ehlers or Line, those are long-term investments because of their age. So I think it'd be a mistake if they just left the roster the way it is. And obviously you have to leave space for the kids to play, but that didn't work last time around and it might not work again. So like if you can add someone like Ehlers or even if you get like a stopgap like Andre Palat or something like that, although I don't know, his trade value after these playoffs is kind of going through the roof.
No.
Yeah, he's been kind of insane. But like if you got to do something, whether it's a stopgap like Ehlers or a stopgap like Palat, or you go and make the long-term investment and pay up for Ehlers. And like the thing is too, like, we say Ehlers is going to cost an arm and a leg to acquire, but like, I don't know.
$6 million per year.
It's that he's got a lot of term on his contract. But last season the Jets only got Neil Pionk and a first round pick in return for Trouba. Now, granted, in hindsight, that trade actually kind of worked out for them because Pionk had a really good year for the Jets and he's probably their best defenseman. And Trouba's kind of overrated and not as good as everyone thinks he is. But like, you never know what a team values. Like, I'm not saying it's going to cost that little to get Ehlers, and it definitely won't cost that little to get Line, but the price might not be as outrageous as some people may think. Like, it's always hard to pinpoint what the value would be for any player, really. You just look at the Kapanen trade.
Yeah, I mean,
my question. I had a question. I'm drawing a blank.
What about me?
What was I gonna ask? Oh, I remember. I know what I was gonna ask now. So we all agree the Devils are sort of retooling / rebuilding.
Yes.
So how much longer can us fans sit here and watch this team in the off season, whether it's free agency or trades, whatever, take these, I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm not going to swing for a grand slam home run here, but I'm just going to try and, poke a ball through whatever. So I'm just using a metaphor and just try and, take a stab at a guy and then hoping he pans out on like a 1-year deal and stuff and tryouts and all this, stuff. How much longer can our fans sit here and say, okay, like, we're 3 years into this or 5 years into this rebuild. It's taken longer than we thought. Sooner or later here in these off seasons, we got to step up to the plate and we got to go big or go home. Like, we need to move the needle along here. Like, let's get it rolling. Let's give the fans something to look at. Let's bring the fans back into the seat because, it's hard. It's hard to say. Like, all of us want to see the Prudential Center sold out like every night, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. The only time they sell out is opening night. And say somebody like Washington comes into town, the Rangers come into town, the Flyers or the Penguins come into town, and then or the Islanders, and then after that they'll get the odd sellout here and there. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, swing for the fences here. Bring in like a legit elite superstar player if they become available, so you can put people in the seats. Like,
yes.
You saw, like Neil pointed it out when we acquired Kovalchuk. Like, our building wasn't getting sold out even when we had Parise and Ilyash and we had Clarkson and Brodeur and all them. But as soon as we got Kovalchuk,
there was more excitement.
Fans were coming to games, but you even see it in the NHL. Like, Montreal this year was struggling to sell it, and that is rare. They always sell out. And the Leafs, the Rangers, all these teams, and the Penguins and the Flyers, like, I know, like, they have Crosby and all that stuff and Ovechkin, but they, even when they're losing and they're bad, they're still selling out. Like,
it's like watching the Knicks. It's like the same thing.
It's
no, seriously, it's like the same thing. It's just like, the thing is that I understand where you guys are coming from with like getting the top, tier player that gets, asses in the seat, but we have to remember to go back to what I was saying before. The Devils should not make a move like this unless they can feel very comfortable that this player can come in and help this team get better. Because if we bring in someone like Patrick Lunny or Johnny Gaudreau and they do not pan out, like we're going to be all over it very quickly. Like we're going to be done with it. We're going to want to move on from them like that. Like just honestly, getting a player that is recognizable would be good to kind of continue to build the sport of hockey in New Jersey. Obviously, when you look at it, football and basketball are the two most popular sports in this state. No question about it. There is no debating that. But we live in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, and one thing that is for certain, big name guys are the guys that fans want to see. And Devils fans, I'm sure, would love to get a guy that is, a top tier player that everybody knows. And we say, holy crap, they got him. Like, that's how people reacted when the Devils acquired Taylor Hall. They were like, how the hell did the Devils, acquire Taylor Hall for Adam Larson?
Well,
like,
Peter Chiarelli. I mean,
Chiarelli being the nut job he is.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll be a nut job when he gets hired by Florida. Who knows? But here's the thing.
Enjoy those state taxes.
There you go. But the thing is that I think the Devils are not worried about, at least from the general manager standpoint. I don't think Fitzgerald is worried about getting a player that's just going to bring in more people to come to the games. He's going to do what's best for the team. He's not going to worry about it. It's going to be like, you know what? Like, we're going to go and win. Now, he might be pressured by Harrison Blitzer to get a big name player in, because
how in the hell are they going to get that big name player? How are you going to pay up?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what Blitzer want to do. When they said that we expected more from Ray Shera, it was kind of like, well, how could you let him go on this long and say we expected more? What did you expect originally? Like, they were like, oh, we expected to win. Bro, like, I don't, like, you got to be more definitive with this. You're struggling you have all this talent with the freaking 76ers, and they can't get past the freaking second round, or God forbid the first round, every single year. And then you have a Devils team that is struggling to just get back in the playoffs and being a legit Stanley Cup contender. You have to make the decision. Are you more of a regular owner that cares about the bottom line, or are you an owner that wants to win? You can't have it both ways. You're not going to succeed that way. It's never been that way. It's never worked.
I don't really agree with that. Like, I think owners, they obviously want to win because that's how they make money.
Well, they can make money other ways than just winning.
Yeah, but like that brings them in the most money. If like the team is winning, you're gonna have more sellouts on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night when they play like the Coyotes. Like, if the team sucks, who wants to go see the Coyotes on a Tuesday night? Like,
yeah,
it's like I think they obviously want to win. It's not even just like Devils ownership. Like, you hear like, oh, they don't care about winning. Like, I think that's really rare. I mean, owners want to make the most money they can, and the only way they do that is if their team is winning games, not if they're a bottom feeder every time. So their plan, whatever it is, I'm sure it's to make these guys winners sooner than later. I mean, they said as much as the trade deadline. So
yeah, but that's that's the most recent answer we've gotten from the ownership, who, by the way, was very focused on trying to buy the Mets, and that didn't work out. But you're in a situation where I would just like them at the beginning of the year, Harrison Blitzer, to just say to the fans what exactly they want from this team, so that all I want is honesty. I want these guys to be honest and definitive with what they're looking for. That's why I've really liked Fitzgerald, because he's been definitive and honest about what he wants this team to be and where this team is. If Harrison Blitzer want to build a winning team, and Fitzgerald comes in and says, hey, we have to give this guy a certain amount of money in order to bring in a guy that can help us win.
Who will that guy be
have to make that choice.
if you want to win?
Hey, Joe, this question is for all of you guys because I want all you guys to keep talking because obviously you guys are rolling. So let's keep this going a little bit longer.
Sure.
I got some time here, so like.
Yep.